What is up, guys? Mitch or Deity. We're on the Turtle account today. We're going to talk about the summon event that's coming, and I want you guys to let me know, do you want me to do these kind of videos in the future? So what we're going to be going over today is going to be the summon rush. So there's a summon rush starting in 4 hours. I'm going to be talking about the characters on the summon rush that I would summon for. Okay, I'll show what is all available and all that, but real quick before we get into that, the fusion's going good, boys. We ended up winning on this account. The other account I haven't checked yet. I don't know if I got any. I know I didn't. I got 4th place. But on this account, I did get first, so I got the extra tokens from it, or fragment points, whatever. So I'm at 70 of 100, so we're getting there. We're getting pretty close. After this fusion, or after the summon event, I've already done the ice golem. We're in a good spot. I think we should finish it in the near future. There are not going to be, or is not going to be, any other events going on for a couple days, so I have some time to save. And luckily, the clan shop is going to refresh. I don't think we're going to have energy on this next rotation, but it's fine. I'll get the gold at least. I think I need, or silver. Yeah, I have 22 mil. So for the next gear enhancement, I probably need a little bit more currency. But next up, with the summon event that's coming, we are going to have, let's go in and look at the characters for it. So within the featured news here, it should have the, actually, I'm going to have to pull this up. So give me 1 sec. Let's pull up the characters that are going to be coming in the next summon event. Okay, so I'm going to go over who I'd pick on this, and we'll pull up the thing, and I'll showcase, I guess, what all they can do. But with this, the first summon event, I think is the better one of the two. So if I was going to summon, I'd summon on this first batch here, at least the majority of my shards, but it depends on what you're going for, or what you have on your account, obviously. But if you're a new player with not a lot of legendaries, I think Mavra, of all these characters here, Mavra is going to do the most for you. I think she's absolutely insane. I don't know Holguk very much, but I know Mavra, and I use her, and she is so freaking good. She would be the character that I would pick. You cannot go wrong with her if you do not have her. And this is one of the first times she's been on summon since her thing started. So definitely, if you have a chance to get her, I would. If you're going for the fusion, if you're not going for the fusion, I would save. I would save for whatever next fusion or some other event you can do is. Then I would pick Odin. Okay, so of these three, Warlord's really good. Togren, yeah, and then but Odin, yes, Odin can completely change your account. He's such a hard carry for it. You can use him in literally everything, which technically most Void champs you can. But guys, if you can get Odin, you got. I mean, I had 12 Void shards last summon rush, and I got Hecaton, and Hecaton, he's so fun right now, and I got the 5-star soul for him. So Odin would be my go-to. Next up, the second batch here. Pelops and Knave of Hearts are my two favorite. Opardon can be pretty solid as well, of course, but my number one pick for this is Pelops. I won't cover him because I've covered him in a million other videos, but if you don't have him, this is a good chance to maybe try to get him. So don't hate Pelops here. And then going down, the problem with this is I'm not a huge fan of any of these. I actually have Bellatar, and I haven't used him on my main account yet. He's rated pretty high, so I probably could find a place for him. But otherwise, if I had to pick between the three, I'd probably pick Cladna. I think she would probably add the most to a new account, but that's just me. I personally wouldn't try for the Voids on week 2, though, in comparison to week 1. I just like Odin so much, just from personal use case of him. I think he's insane, and I think he's account changing, whereas I don't think any of these three are really going to have the same impact that Odin would for you. So that is my opinion on the two. Now, obviously, you can try to get Man-Eaters. Man-Eaters would be great early on an account. You could try to make an unkillable team. And then Seer. I would obviously pick Seer. She's always going to be good. So those would be my two epic picks. In terms of the regular epics, I'm not really... Are they here? Regular epic... Oh, yeah, they are. I mean, Galapos, really good. Eolfrig is a fusion character. If you don't have Eolfrig, I believe he's the fusion blonde-haired dude. And then Thisbe... Galapos really good. I'd probably pick Galapo from that, depending on if you have your Reviver pretty set up. Then Ilisanya, I know, is a Mikage fusion. So a couple Mikage fusion characters you could go for if you do not have them. So that is that. Let's go ahead and check out a couple of the characters so I can sell you on them if you are trying to summon and don't know who to go for. Okay, so first up, the first character I want to cover, Mavras and Dark Elves. So let's just start with Odin. So Odin, this character... unbelievably good. He came out during the Asgard event with Loki and I don't remember who else, but I know Loki was free during that time, and he is nuts. Actually, almost all of the characters from this event were crazy. So him, though, every 9 turns places a block damage buff on himself and or on the champ for 1 turn, and also applies a buff spread effect. So he puts it on everybody. You get a block damage every 9 turns, which is awesome. Okay, that just passively happens. He also has a void speed lead of 40%, which can be good, especially if you have him plus what's her name, Arbiter. You get a 40% instead of the 30, but the problem is it's only to your Void character. So if you really need to get turn 1, could be more useful, but otherwise it's only in arena battles. So that's the only bad part about him. He's not the greatest lead for general content, but he can be used, like, look at his ratings. 5 on like everything, Hydra, 4.7 spiders, like everything he's super, super good in. So next up to skill 3. It's a lot, okay? It's going to take a second. Attacks on enemy 4, attacking steals all buffs from target. So he's a strip, but it's a single target strip. The damage inflicted by this skill depends on the target's type. So if it's an attack, it will inflict damage based on the target's attack. So it bases it off of what they are and their skills, or their stats, which is really nice. Defense will inflict based off defense, HP support based off HP, and this attack ignores 100% of target's defense. It hits really hard. Next up, if the target was killed, revives a random dead ally with half turn meter, half health. That's insane. So he's kind of a pseudo reviver at the same time, because trust me, he can kill. He can do a lot of damage. Next up, the skill 2. This is the remove all buffs from all enemies, which is unbelievably useful, especially Hydra. He's saving grace for Hydra early on if you don't have other characters. Then he has an 80% chance of placing decreased defense and stun. So if he goes first in, say, your arena, so this is a good skill for Hydra because it removes and puts decreased defense. The stun doesn't matter. But for general wave control of just Dragon's Lair, any general stage, getting the decreased defense and stun is so valuable, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown, which is huge. But it also, in arena, it can just completely control the opponent immediately. And he needs to be the fastest in your team. You put him as your lead, and that's where him by himself can be just better in Arbiter. Instead of pushing up your team, just control the entire enemy team. If you're removing all buffs, it's super, super good. Next up, the skill 1 is going to put Berserk debuff for 2 turns. The debuff can't be placed on bosses, and that's it. So super basic skill 1, but the passive is where he shines. The skill 3 hits like a nuke, and the skill 2 is just a god tier arena skill / just wave control skill for any content. So Odin, definitely worth going for. If you get him, congratulations, and I think you'll be super, super happy. Okay, so the next character I want to cover, the next one I would summon on that first summon rush is Mavra. So I did not end up doing her fusion on the turtle account here. I do have her on my main, and I use her in literally everything. Okay, I use her, she replay, like, every single team except my clan boss. My clan boss is solved, but I use her in everything else. So the reason for that is I have a character, Pallas, that pairs with her really well. But let's go ahead, and she's another arena speed lead, which could be really good for you as a new player if you haven't got Arbiter yet. But then her passive. For every 8 buffs the enemy team receives, increase turn meter of all allies by 20%. So it could be used in PvP. I don't get much value out of this except in Hydra. So Hydra, I'll get the turn meter. Everything else, don't really see enough buffs getting put out. Then for every 16 buff this champion allies receive, though this I do get a lot, heals all allies for 20% of the max HP. So she basically, if you have 2 characters putting buffs up, your whole team never basically is hurting at all. They're always full health, because getting 16 buffs whenever you have a 5-man team is extremely easy. Okay, it takes 2 skills. Now, it's really nice, and her skill 3, or her skills are on low cooldowns too. So this can be on a 3-turn cooldown. It revives an ally with 50% HP and 50% turn meter, and places perfect veil on all allies except for themselves, and then it also places unkillable on themselves. So they basically make it to where if the enemy single target attacking, it's going to attack her, she's unkillable, everybody else is hiding and takes reduced damage. So veil, super, super good, and plus it pairs with a lot of different veil characters. Now, next up, these buffs will be placed even if no allies are revived. So she will just use this skill without having to revive somebody, which is nice. Whenever a skill is locked behind a revive, it can be super annoying. Now, the skill 2 places a strengthened buff and an increased res buff on all allies. So that's already, if you have 5 teammates, that's already 10 buffs. So you're already a 10 of your 16 away from a heal just from her skill 2. Her skill 3 is also placing a perfect veil, which counts as a buff, and the unkillable. So that's 5 buffs right there. She puts a lot of buffs up. Okay, next up, the skill 2 though. Places a strength buff and increased res buff, and then also equalizes the HP levels of all allies. The HP levels of all allies will be brought up to the level of the ally with highest HP. So it makes you very, very hard to kill. Now, the skill 1 is the big one though. So the skill 1, attacks enemy, places a fervor buff for 2 turns on a random ally except for this champion. So fervor buff gives you, what is it, 20% attack and HP. I don't remember exactly what fervor buff does, but it makes you stronger and survive for longer. It's the easy way to describe it. I don't know the exact thing off the top of my head. If the randomly selected ally is already under fervor buff, place it on another randomly selected ally instead. So if you have, the only character I know of that puts fervor buff out is Pallas, but I use her with her, and even without that though, she can put it on the most important character on your team that is going to be able to get the extra attacks, which we'll go in a second. So the passive effect, so this is just something, for some reason it's a passive effect on her skill 1, but allies under a a fervor buff have a 50% chance of joining the attacks of other allies under a fervor buff. So if you have multiple allies under fervor buff, you're going to be multi-attacking nonstop, which is really good. So the more skill ones you get with your Mavra, the better off you're going to be, because you're going to have multiple fervor buffs going and multiple dual attacks going. Now, if you have somebody else that can put fervor buff on your entire team, then you basically have a Ninja Turtle account where every time someone attacks, your other character's all attacking too, which makes things like Fire Knight and just everything super, super simple. So this champion will not join in any attack. So that's the sad part. Mavra will never dual attack, meaning she can't just proc fervor buff extra. But a way you can also manipulate this is going to be having characters such as Fahrakin or Mikage, if you made it that far, getting your extra dual attacks with everybody, because then she can place a fervor buff on additional characters during those dual attacks, which then continues the chain of a ton of fervor buff going on. If there are multiple champions on the team with skill and want to activate, the skill will not activate on duplicate copies of this champion. So the idea with Mavra, one, she keeps you alive really well, perfect Veil, really good for Hydra, and just general content. Two, increase the strengthen, it definitely helps, and the increased res. Fervor buff also gives boosted stats, and then a lot of dual attacking. So Mavra, unbelievably strong. Let's see her ratings, 4.9, 4.8, and everything. So can be used basically in every single type of content. Can't go wrong with her, okay? This is 1000% the character I would push for her to summon. So that is all I'm going to cover for this. I will do these videos differently in the future if you want them. I feel like this is something that probably gets asked a lot, especially if you're new and just started. You don't know who to summon on. So if I could do these for each one and just give my opinion of what is the best. The problem is if you already have the best, I have a feeling you would know the game a little bit better if you've already started stockpiling your legendaries up like that. But let me know. I think this is something I'm trying to upload every day on the Raid channel to see if I can do it. It's a challenge, and it's 11:35 p.m., so I'm barely making it today, but this just seemed like a good idea. Let me know. Thank you guys for watching. It's been Richard Deity. I'll see you all in the next video. Also, let me know who you're summoning for down below.